Welcome to Real Church for Real People. Glad you're here. Let me look into the camera, say a big hello to our Hockessin location. Love you guys very much, our church family there. And then to all of you who are gathering online, our online church family, we love you. Newark, will you help me make some noise for everybody joining us today? Yeah, one church family spread out over many locations, and it's exciting to see what God is doing during this season. Christmas at the Journey is coming up, as you heard, and we're ramping up for a great season of the year. I know that it looks a lot different this year for many of us because of everything that's going on in our world. But I want to take a moment before we jump into the message and just encourage you beyond attending Christmas at the Journey starting next Saturday, beyond just attending. I want to encourage you to do 4 simple things that I really believe can help you make the most of this season, make it meaningful. As we get into Christmas at the Journey, the first thing I want to invite you to do is to pray. And wherever you are in your spiritual journey, I want to encourage you to take some time this week and pray for everyone who will be experiencing God during this Christmas season here. You can, wherever you are, just take a moment, whatever you're doing this Wednesday at 1:30 in the afternoon. We're going to set aside a few minutes during that time, just wherever we are, scattered all over the place, just to pray for Christmas. And I want to encourage you to do that. The second thing is to invite. So you heard we have 16 Christmas gatherings to choose from. We have 12 of those that are in person at our 2 physical locations, 4 online. We've made plenty of space in our in-person experiences so that it's safe for you to come. But whether you come in person or online, either is fine. Just don't come alone. Bring somebody with you. Invite someone to join you. What God's doing in your life is going to mean so much more when you see Him do something through your life, in the life of someone else. So invite people to Christmas. The third thing is, it's already up there, to serve. It got ahead of me. Screen got ahead of me today. Stop it. But I do want to just invite you to serve. You heard it a moment ago that whether you are on the J team or not, for Christmas you are. So I hereby dub you a part of our J team and want to encourage you to serve. Let's serve people. Let's look like Jesus. He said, I did not come to be served, but to serve. And I want to invite you to do that this Christmas. Not sure exactly what's happening right now. Is this thing working? It is. All right, let's try. I am still in control, correct? Maybe. All right, the last thing is, we'll talk later. I want to encourage you to give. And if you've been coming the past few weeks, you've heard us talking about our Christmas offering. We have a vision this year to make a difference in the lives of people who are hurting and hungry and searching. And you'll have a chance to be a part of that at the end of the message today. So I just want to encourage you to, beyond just attending, I hope you'll come, again, in person or online, but beyond that, just take these 4 very simple things and make them a part of your Christmas. That sound good to everybody? It's going to be a great Christmas. I really believe that. And maybe because it's so different, it has the potential, I think, to be the most meaningful one yet in our lives. And if we'll go below the surface and see what God is doing. So as we jump into this message today, I don't know about you, but I have never been a big fan of jigsaw puzzles. I have ADD, and it's just hard to focus for that long. Honestly, there's always something in the room more exciting than the puzzle. And on top of that, my mom and sister used to put puzzles together when I was a kid, and they were so much better than me at it. I felt intimidated and didn't want to play a game I knew I could lose. And so I just never got into them. But there hasn't been a lot of entertainment during COVID-19. You know, we've all been in our houses more. We're limited the places we can go, the things we can do. And so my wife, in the midst of this, she thought, well, I'm going to do something special. She bought a Christmas puzzle, and she brought it home the beginning of this month. And in her mind, she had this thought that we'll leave this out all the way until Christmas, and we won't rush it. We'll just, when we have a few minutes, we'll put some pieces in place. It'll be a bonding experience. And of course, I was kind of skeptical because I thought I didn't like puzzles, but I thought, well, I'll go along with this for my wife, and I'll just act like I really am interested. But once I started putting this puzzle together, I became obsessed. I mean, I had one thing on my mind. Got to finish this as quickly as possible. And I started doing this really annoying thing where every time I got a piece in the correct place, I would announce it. Look what I did. Aha! Check it out. See how much further along we are now. This puzzle has hundreds of pieces, so you can imagine. And it was every time. My wife confirmed this. Every time put a piece in place, I would have to make an announcement. Look what I did. So this puzzle that was supposed to last all month long was done much quicker than that, and it was no longer a bonding experience, everybody. It was a brutal competition between me and the pieces. My family ceased to exist to me. Nothing else mattered except dominating this puzzle for the glory of God. And as we neared completion on the puzzle, suddenly I realized there's a piece missing. I was outraged. Of all of the things happening in our world, none came close for me to this massive problem. We're missing a piece to this puzzle. And I was ready to fly to the country where the puzzle was manufactured, barge into the CEO's office. No, I don't have an appointment. I just need to see him or her. And I just needed to finish the puzzle. And then I found out that my daughter, in a cruel trick, had taken one of the pieces of the puzzle and hidden it in her room. She had observed how unhinged her father had become about this puzzle. And she decided this will really mess with him. And so when I found this out, after I disowned her, and if you're looking for a kid, I've got one. After I disowned her, we got the piece back and we finished the puzzle. I let my wife put the last piece in because I'm a very generous person. But as she did, I thought to myself, look what I did. I did this. Look what I did. Just craving that affirmation. You know, I'm a pastor, so I have the kind of job where it's generally frowned on to go around saying, look what I did. And so the puzzle became if I can't control most of my life, look what I did. I think a lot of us are busy working on the puzzles of our lives. And we have moments of disappointment. Why doesn't this piece fit? Or it's been a long time since a piece fit for me. We try to force it sometimes. I can make this relationship work against all odds. Or I know this is probably not a healthy habit, but I'm just going to keep pursuing it. We have moments of pride when we look at the puzzle and we go, look what I did. Look what I drive. Look what I own. Look how I've been elevated. Look at my influence. Look at my accomplishments. And yet so often all of us, whatever we believe about God, all right, so wherever you are in all of this, so often all of us are aware deep down we're missing a piece. We just, as hard as we work, as much effort as we put in, we're missing a piece. And we see other people with what look like completed puzzles and we think to ourselves, why? Why do they have all the pieces? That's not fair. They don't deserve that. I do. You ever look at somebody else and go, that belongs in my puzzle, not yours. I'm supposed to have that. I've worked harder. I've done better. I've put in the time. It's not fair. 2 weeks ago, Thanksgiving weekend, I read 3 stories in the message here that Jesus told to illustrate why he came. I'll give you a real quick refresher. The first story is about a man who has 100 sheep, but one wanders away and is lost. And Jesus asked the question, what will this guy do? Won't he leave the 99 and go searching for the one that is lost? And he will search until he finds it. And when he finds that lost sheep, he will place it on his shoulders, carry it home, call his friends and neighbors together, and celebrate. Second story is about a woman who has 10 coins, but she misplaces one. She loses one in her house. It's lost. And Jesus again asked the question, won't she stop everything, light a lamp, grab a broom, sweep the house carefully until she finds the one that is lost. And when she finds it, she will call her friends and her neighbors. She'll post about it on Facebook. She'll let everybody know, I found the coin. Let's celebrate. The third story is about a man who has two sons that he loves very much, but one son, the younger one, asks for his inheritance early, and when his father gives it to him, he leaves and he wastes it all on wild living. And when he's broke and broken, he finally comes to his senses and he returns home. And the father, instead of chastising him, instead of scolding him, instead of rejecting him, the father welcomes him with open arms. This broken son who returns home is forgiven and restored. And then the dad doesn't stop there. He calls everybody in his household together, everybody who works for him, everybody around, and he says, let's have a party, let's celebrate. The lost one is found. And the point of all of those stories is that to Jesus, one is worth everything. One person who is lost, wandering, unfulfilled, lacking hope, searching for answers. One person is worth everything, and we are the one. We're the one that Jesus will leave 99 and come searching for. We're the one that Jesus will make sure the 9 coins are good, but then leave them and sweep and light a lamp and make sure and search until he finds us. We're the one that Jesus waits and watches, hoping that we will come to our senses. We're the one, when we're lost, he searches for us. When we've sinned, he forgives us. We are the one when we're lost, when we're searching. But what happens when we're found? And there's another part to that last story that speaks to the puzzle that all of us who know God, and if that's not you yet, if you're still trying to figure it all out, that's okay. But for all of us who know God, our lives have been transformed by the simple power of the message of Jesus, now we're putting the puzzle together. And this last part of the story speaks to what happens when we're found, because while the dad is celebrating the return of his youngest son, this happens. Meanwhile, the older son was in the fields working. And when he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house, and he asked one of the servants what was going on. Your brother is back, he was told, and your father has killed the fattened calf, fillet for everyone. We are celebrating because of his safe return. I have a brother who is older than me, and when he was in his 20s, he disappeared, like the younger brother in this story. For over a year, we didn't know where he was. He had hitchhiked to California, was staying with some friends, and then we completely lost contact with him. We didn't have a phone number, we didn't have an address, didn't know if he was dead or alive. And then one day, just out of the blue, after over a year, he called my mom. And I can't tell you how relieved we all were. I mean, our family was so relieved, but I secretly was also a little ticked off. I remember thinking to myself, how could you do this to us? How could you do this to our mom? And I also remember thinking, hey, Mom, I'm glad you're so relieved and so excited. I know all the attention is on him right now, but hello, I didn't hitchhike to California. I'm the good son, right? Look what I did. Because I couldn't say I'm the good son very often growing up, so I was looking for an opportunity. Conflicting emotions, relieved, just a little resentful. So here's this older brother, right? He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's in the fields working. He's not off wasting his money. He's not off blowing his life up in some terrible way. He's working in his father's fields. He's faithful. He's the good son. He comes home sweating, dirty, worn out, tired, just wants to relax after a hard day. And he hears the music and the dancing, and he asks one of the workers, what's going on? And when he finds out it's a party for his younger brother, the one who left home, wasted everything, didn't bother to text or call, well, the older brother was angry. And he wouldn't go in. So his dad came out and begged him, but he replied, listen, all these years I've slaved for you. putting piece after piece in place in this puzzle for you. And I never once refused to do a single thing you told me to. I'm a good son. And in all that time, you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. Yet when this son of yours, he's not my brother, he's your son. When he comes back after squandering your money on prostitutes, which is new to the story, so I don't know if he just kind of assumed, or if he'd heard the rumors or saw it on Insta. When your son comes back after squandering your money on prostitutes, what do? You celebrate by killing the fattened calf. This is how some of us feel toward God. Now, chances are good, most of us have never looked toward heaven and asked God, why haven't you given me even one young goat for a feast with my friends, But I'll tell you what we have done. We have thought to ourselves, as we try to put the pieces in place in our own puzzle, why am I driving this hand-me-down car when my friend's parents bought them a brand new one? Where my daughter goes to college, she has friends, and there are a lot of students there whose parents buy these 18, 19-year-olds, Teslas and Land Rovers, and she was kind of like, hey, and I was like, yeah, Uber is a great, definitely can spot you the $12 a month to Uber once a month to Target where you're on your own, And so we've had that thought. We've thought, why is our relationship miserable and theirs seems so happy? I know her. She's jacked up. She's dysfunctional. Like, why does he love her so much? Why do they seem to be so happy? I can't find the right person, and he just found the right, and I don't know what she sees in him. Why? Why is their baby sleeping through the night at 4 days old? And I'm pretty sure mine will be 14 years old and still waking up. Why? Why did they get hired? Why are they getting promoted? Why are they getting chosen? Why are they getting the attention? Why are they getting the influence? Why is everybody flocking to them and not me? That piece belongs in my puzzle, not theirs. Why? What's going on? All these years I've been a good person. I have been putting the puzzle together the best I can. I work hard. I don't do that bad thing. I don't have that bad habit, or if I do, at least it's in moderation. I don't have that sketchy past. I'm nice. I'm reliable. Why are they having a party thrown in their honor? And I'm still looking for that last piece to my puzzle. Come on, you ever feel that way? Just honestly ever feel that way? Like, yeah, well, a lot of us do. But God, what is going on all these years? Here's what we're saying. All these years, God, I've slaved for you. I've been better to you than you've been to me, God. What's happening? Why isn't my life complete? And what's the missing piece? I've worked hard. I've put in the time. I'm trying the best I can. What's the missing piece to my puzzle? The missing piece is what you do when the party's not for you. That's the missing piece to our puzzle. It's what you do when the party's not for you. So watch this. The older brother has two issues, and I recognize them because they show up in my life at times. I'm willing to bet that they show up in yours as well. The first one is unresolved resentment. So when he hears about the party, he's angry. And we get the sense he's not suddenly angry. It's been simmering for a while, right? He doesn't just out of nowhere, he's been good, but now he loses his cool. No, he's been thinking about this. He's been in the fields. I don't know how to do field work. I don't know if I'm raking the field right now. I don't know. But he's been in the fields, he's been working, sweat running off his brow, and he's had time to think. Can't believe my brother. That guy. And he thought it was sort of this helpful thought pattern of, thank God I'm not like that guy. I'm a good son. I'm a good person. And you fill in the blank like that, my brother, the Democrat. Or my brother, the Republican. Or, he's just out there. My dad must be so thankful he has me because I'm awesome. And when he comes home and he realizes there's a party being thrown for the person he's pretty sure God doesn't like as much as him, he's angry. It didn't happen all of a sudden. He's been simmering with this unresolved resentment. And some of us are there. We have this, we may not even be aware of it, but we have this simmering, unresolved resentment. Maybe we even feel like, God, you took something from me, but I didn't give up on you. I just kept being faithful, or you haven't given me something that I feel like I deserve. And it's okay because I see other people sort of, at least I'm not like them. And then all of a sudden, it's been simmering for a long time. And when we see someone else receiving grace they don't deserve, mercy that doesn't make sense, being celebrated, then we're angry. I do know how to do angry, by the way. I may not know how to do field work, but. And here's the second issue. Not only does he have unresolved resentment, he has unresolved disconnection. Here's what I mean. Listen, the party's going on inside, but he won't go in. Yeah, I've noticed when my attitude goes south, I start trying to put my puzzle together solo. I hold people at arm's length. I disconnect, and it's never good. I end up missing out on the party, and I think some of us we've let our disappointment in people lead to disconnection from people. And it's never good. Don't get alone with your own thoughts for long. This is never good. Without realizing it, we become the only person we're taking advice from. Bad news. But watch how the dad responds. So here's his older son, lashes out. He's rude. He's arrogant. Blames his dad. Disrespectful. And his father said, "Look, dear son, you need grace too. See, you've always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We had to celebrate this happy day, for your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, but now he is found." So the older brother, he's been working the puzzle, right? He's been a good boy. He's doing what he should, but in the process, he lost sight of the purpose of his dad's house. He let resentment and disconnection work its way into his life, wasn't even aware that it was there, but when the chips were down, he just explodes, and he's so angry and resentful, and he won't go in. He's missing the party, and he has forgotten what the purpose of his father's house really is. It's for welcoming lost sons and daughters home. But he's become complacent, and he's become a consumer. When he first came into the family and he first began to look at his dad with respect and honor, he was so grateful for an opportunity to work in his father's fields. But now he's become complacent and entitled, and he's a consumer, and he's like, it's hot today, it's cold today. I wonder if my dad really appreciates everything I'm doing for him. And he begins to think, my father's house exists to serve me, instead of remembering that he exists to serve his father's house. And he loses sight of his purpose. And in response, his dad says, hey, we gotta go back to the basics, dear son. Let me ask you a question. Just think about it in your head. What really makes your day? Like, when do you get really excited? What's a good day for you? Is it when your team wins? I haven't had a good day in a while. It's when your quarterback gets replaced. Just kidding, I didn't say that. Stay with me, people. What makes a good day? Is it double star day at Starbucks? Oh. Now I just have to spend $713 more and I get a latte. Do the math, it's amazing. Is it a Christmas bonus? Oh, yes. Is it getting the last dozen rolls of toilet paper at Costco? I mean, what really makes your day. If I could just watch your life, when would I see you most excited and fulfilled? And you're like, yes, everything's coming together. It's a good life. Well, can I tell you what really makes God's day? There's nothing wrong with anything that I just described, but here's what really makes God's day, because you were made in the image of God. So if you are down and missing some things, sometimes it's because you were made in the image of God who mourns the loss of what matters to him. If you're rejoicing and celebrating, sometimes it's because you were made in the image of a God who celebrates what really matters to him. So let me remind us what really matters to our God: a lost son or daughter coming home. That's what he celebrates. And disproportionately, he celebrates that miles above anything else he celebrates. A lost one coming home. It's the Father saying, we had to celebrate. What else would we do? This is why we put the puzzle together. It's the most important piece. And yet for some Christians, and again, if you don't consider yourself one, you can tune this out. But for some of us who would say, yeah, I'm a Christian, I'm a follower of Jesus, lots of stuff is more important to us than lost sons and daughters coming home. Over time, we become church consumers, evaluating everything through the lens of what's in it for us. Did that work for me? And our opinions and pet issues and political preferences become more important than hurting people, even the lost son or daughter sitting a few feet from us sometimes who needs to come home. And we'd rather make a point than make a difference, because we had just forgotten what the Father's house is all about. And let me just tell you, just so you know from experience, it's a short step from there to thinking we are more holy than we really are. Because watch what the older brother says. He says, Dad, all these years I've slaved for you, I have never once refused to do a single thing you asked me to do. Really? Like from the time you were 3 days old, you've never messed up? You're not that good, man. You've just been shown a lot of really good grace. Dear son, the Father says, you haven't slaved for me. You've had the blessing of staying with me. And I've seen what you've done. I've watched every piece you've put in place for me. I've seen your faithfulness, I've seen your sacrifice, I've seen your serving, I've seen your giving, and everything I have is yours. I will not let you go unrewarded. And you are not being ripped off because I'm being compassionate toward your brother. I'm actually making your world richer and better, dear son, because this is what we were working for the whole time. And I know you've served me. And I know you feel like you're missing pieces in the puzzle of your life. But my kid's back. You remember the lost one? That we didn't know if they were dead or alive, if they would ever come home? It's a happy day, right, son? This is what the Father's house is for, everyone. It's the whole point. It's why we gather. It's to come together to provide a place that beckons lost sons and daughters to come home. It's why we connect to grow spiritually so that ultimately we can serve, so that lost sons and daughters can come home. The missing piece is what you do when the party's not for you. And I think it's an important question for all of us, whether we're new to following Jesus, or maybe we've been believers for a long time. How do you see your relationship with God? As painful slaving? I got to sacrifice this because I'm a Christian. Or as the joyful security of staying in the Father's house? I get to do this. How do you see what you have right now? I know it's imperfect, it's incomplete. It's not maybe what you wanted or thought you would have at this point in your life, but how do you see what you have right now as never enough or as more than you deserve? And how do you see other people, especially the people who tick you off, the people you disagree with, the people who don't share your point of view, the people who've wasted their lives in wild living? How do you see them as, well, that must be your son or daughter, God? Or do you see them as my brother or sister? And is it possible that you have become so obsessed with putting your puzzle together and wanting the credit for each piece you fit in place? Look what I did. That you haven't noticed the missing part that actually brings your life together. It's what you do when the party's not for you. That's the missing piece. It's the most important piece. Jesus is saying, now that you know me, this is the most important piece, somebody else knowing me. The puzzle isn't just about you. The piece that we have to celebrate is not just your achievement or your raise or your comfort or you getting what you want or things going your way. No, the lost one being found. That's the most important piece. Last week, someone told me about a young woman who found the journey online this year. And she grew up in a totally different religion than Christianity, but as she started watching online, something happened in her life. Something began to open up inside of her, and eventually she came to the point, watching our gatherings online, where she put her faith in Jesus. And she began to get involved in the life of this community of faith. She started serving on our J team. And because of her background, members of her own family basically cut her off because of her new faith in Jesus. I kind of gave her this message, you need to choose Jesus or us. But when she told her story, and how her experience with our community of faith was changing her life, she told it with joy. And she said, I can't believe I get to do this. I can't believe I get to be a part of this. I can't believe I get to serve other people. Jesus has changed everything in my life. For all of us who've been following Jesus for a little while, remember that feeling? Let me just challenge you right now. Let me challenge me. You've got focused on the sweat on your brow and everything you're doing for God. And when am I going to see all my pieces fall into place? And Jesus is saying, hey, dear son, dear daughter, lovingly, nothing you've ever done for me can compare to what I've done for you. I gave you my son, Jesus, to die for your sins. I gave you a community of faith to be a part of. I gave you the hope of heaven, that while the world is consumed with fear, you know you can't lose because you're mine. I see you working in the fields, but I need you to remember why. I need you to remember what my house is for. You're not slaving for me. You have the privilege of staying with me. And I know you're searching for what's going to make your life complete. And I have the peace you need. I've had it the whole time. The missing piece is what you do when the party's not for you. The missing piece is how you live your life, understanding that your joy and your fulfillment and the affirmation you crave is on the other side of looking up from your own puzzle to help someone else. It's in the prayers you pray this week for people who are going to come during Christmas, people who are going to click on during Christmas, people like the young woman I just described who don't have the hope of Jesus, but before 2020 ends, they will, by the grace of God. The missing piece is in the people you reach for, in the invitations you extend, and the steps you take to serve. It's in the gift that you give that maybe seems like more than is reasonable. The missing piece, if you want to know whether or not you really get who God is, watch your response when He asks you to pay for a party in someone else's honor. The missing piece is what you do when the party's not for you. Father, we come to you today, and we're so humbled to be in your presence, to be reminded, God, of the grace and the mercy you have shown us. It's been so good to be in your house and to be in relationship with you and to know you that maybe we've gotten complacent and lost sight. We pray today that you will speak to us. God, I pray over every one of us who, like me, can, if we're not careful, slip into this consumer mentality and get in a what's in it for me mindset. And God, I'm asking you that not out of shame, not out of guilt, but out of real conviction, you would compel us. Don't let us simmer with resentment. Don't let us stay disconnected. Help us go running into wherever the party is, wherever a lost one has an opportunity to come home. That's where we want to be. Help us give our lives and our best to see more sons and daughters restored. We thank you for the blessing of it and the grace of it. In Jesus' name. While God speaks to our hearts for a moment more, some of you listen in the rooms right now in Newark, Hokessin, watching online, you're realizing perhaps in this moment that the missing piece in your life is a relationship with God. That you can't say with real confidence that you know God. You can't say with real confidence that you know you're going to heaven, that you know your life is safe in God's hands. And you don't have to leave here, you don't have to end this experience today without that security of knowing you belong to God. And it's not through being religious or doing good deeds or jumping through hoops. It's when you look to Jesus who died for your sins and you put your faith in him and you declare him leader and Lord of your life, you become a child of God. And this is your opportunity right now to take that step. So I'm going to lead us in prayer again. And if that's you, this is your moment. Wherever you are, just whisper out a prayer of faith to Jesus. Something like this: Jesus, today I give my life to you. I can't do life without you. I need the purpose only you provide. I need forgiveness of my sins only you provide. So I trust in you today. I put my faith in you. And if that's you, well, everyone around you just stays dialed into God. If you're in the room, would you just lift your hand? It's just a simple step that says, yeah, it's me. I'm putting my faith in Jesus today. I'm going to follow him. If you're watching online, type the word faith in the comments. Just let us know, hey, that's me. And then everyone, here's what I want you to do. I want you to celebrate lost sons and daughters coming home today. Can we do that together? Yeah. That's what really makes God's day.